Volatility is simply an opportunity to find profitable trades. So don't sit back and relax, but sit up and engage as Futures Fever, powered by Apex Trader Funding, starts right now.
Welcome back, traders, futures traders, and everybody else. I hope you're all having a fantastic day. Happy Wednesday. It is FOMC day, so expecting a 25 BPS cut, but that's not why we're here. We're here to talk about futures, and I've got an awesome guest today. I bring on the one and only Nilab. Appreciate you for joining us today. He's the founder of a system called Market AI. Now, Market AI gives us some insight, and what it really does is it gives retail traders institutional insight. So I'll have him break it down further into the show, but for now, I want to talk to you guys about Apex Trader Funding and how you could profit with a prop firm. So on today's agenda, guys, yes, sir, we got it. Today's agenda, we're going to talk about Apex Trader Funding. We're going to talk about some live market insights, and I'm going to bring on our special guest as well to give us some insight into his own trading strategy, his approach, and what drove him to create Market AI to help give us retail traders a really great insight. And you guys will see exactly what I'm talking about further in the show. So why trade with Apex Trader Funding? Apex Trader Funding gives traders access to funded accounts, completely removing the risk of personal capital. So the only risk you're really facing when you trade an evaluation account, when you trade a funded account, is that evaluation fee or the funded fee. There's never any more, there's never any less, right? So if you spend $40 on an eval and it's $160 for the one-time PA fee for the performance account, that's going to be in total $200 of your own capital at risk for the opportunity to take outwards of thousands. So that's a fantastic ROI. And that's a great way to really manage your own personal capital risk with prop firms. So you get access to firm capital to trade futures markets. So this is mainly futures. This is 100% futures. There are no options, no stocks. This is futures trading. The ES, the NQ, GC, crude oil, whatever you're looking to trade. Earn up to 90% of profits to keep 100% of the first 25K you make. And there is zero personal liability. Guys, trade stress-free. There is no worry that, oh, well, if I blow this Apex account, they're going to penalize me and then I won't be able to trade anymore. Nope, you blow an account, you start right over. Very small fees to get started. It's a very efficient way to scale up and grow as a trader as well. It's a very simple three-step process. First, you get an evaluation account, then you get funded, and then you take your payout. Very simple. They have different profit targets you hit and different goals on your funded account as well to sort of surpass if you hit above 2,100 on a 50K account. Everything above that, you're able to take a payout on. So they are running a pretty major sale, guys. 80% off with discount code FFEVER. This ends September 23rd. $50 resets as well. That's another fantastic sale. And Apex has paid out over $565 million in the past 3 years, guys. That is massive. That's over about $20 million a month. So they're paying out, they're doing well, and they're not going anywhere anytime soon. You could, guys, sign up in the form below for a chance to win a free Apex Trader evaluation account. Last week's winner was Cade. Cade, congratulations. You pick any account size you want. You'll get an email if you win. How do we pay the activation fee? So great question. So first what you do is you would sign up with Apex Trader. I'll show you their website, and then we'll bring on our special guest. So you come over to apextraderfunding.com. You're going to click Get Started, or you're going to come down to one of these accounts. I usually recommend people get started on a Tradeovate. That way you're able to trade directly on TradingView. So you get started, you do maybe a 50K account. Your target is $3,000. Your trailing threshold is $2,500. Once you hit that $3,000, you close out that day. They email you saying congratulations, and then you pay the funded fee, right? The performance account fee. So that is how you get funded with Apex. Guys, now to bring on our very special guest today, Nilab. Man, thank you so much for being here today. Let's bring you on.
Kevin, hey, Kevin, how's it going?
Hey, there we go. What's going on, man?
Amazing, brother. How are you? Thanks for having me on.
Dude, I'm doing good. Thank you for being here.
Dude, first of all, I just want to say that $500 million paid in like 3 years, that's insane. That's
wild.
Crazy.
Dude, nobody else does it like Apex.
Yeah, dude, like when I started trading was about like 7-8 years ago, and there was like no prop firm that provided like capital. And now to see massive companies like Apex, it's incredible, right? That new traders have access to it. So, but Thanks for having me on, man. How is everything with you?
Absolutely, man. Everything's going good on my end. Doing pretty well. Excited for FOMC today. Are you
Yes,
expecting
sir.
anything?
Yeah, dude, it's I've been riding it for a while now because as you know, like markets are very forward looking.
Yep.
So markets are always moving on anticipation rather than being focused on the event that day. So with FOMC, like we've been riding these um, upcoming rate cuts for like the past 2 months, right? You've seen it
Right.
on ES, you've seen it across global equities, you've also seen it on gold. And it's just been when you understand like overall sentiment, you can just translate it and run it ahead. So you've heard the buy the rumor, sell the news, right?
That's right.
That's exactly what in simplified terms, that's what it means. It's markets are always pricing in the upcoming thing.
Yep.
So that's why it's buy the rumor and sell the news, right?
That's awesome. So you've been in a little bit of a long-term position yourself?
Yeah, I actually believe it or not, like I started scaling in on ES and overall equity markets right in the midst of the trade wars when
Okay.
we got started getting the first optimistic headlines from Trump.
Right. The
That was
release
days
around in April.
Yeah, that was days after. So April 7th was basically the bottom and the turning point because that's when Trump started saying that, hey, all these countries are making deals for us. And if you understand like these little cues that central banks drop or Trump drops, these politicians drop, you're able to pick up on, okay, this is probably where we will see inflows, where we will see more optimism come in now, right? So, but like a lot of people are unfamiliar with Trump's first presidency. And that's around the time where I started understanding about macroeconomics and geopolitics, which is one of the reasons we made market. But going back to it, it's exactly how Trump was doing his first presidency. He comes out very attack mode and
Yep.
then becomes much more lenient, but gets the countries to bend the knee for the tariffs, right? So I have been riding ES buys, gold buys, all the way from like April,
Wow.
and it's been fantastic to just take advantage of that underlying sentiment in the markets
Yep.
and just have like that backing that my technicals make sense based on the overall macro picture.
That's awesome. Do you want to let's pull your screen up? Why don't you show us a little bit of where your entries were along the way, some analysis, where you were breaking it down, and then we can sort of dive into the macroeconomics and why you made market AI and how it really does give
Absolutely.
people
So
a good
you
edge.
guys, you can see my screen. So this is the
Yeah.
ES chart, right? I'm going to break it down even to a bit more on the higher time frame. Is when you see like moves like this happening that are driven by a clear cut catalyst, as it could be such as like geopolitics that were happening, or something like upcoming rate decision, which is fueling this bullish move over here. You really have to understand that there's only so much outflows that the market will see because the stock market dives deeper than just us trading on it. It impacts people's lives, it impacts wages, it impacts over company financials. So there's only a certain drop that will continue to happen before the president comes in and starts being more optimistic. And all you really had to wait for was that first optimism where he said, country, I'm taking the tariffs off China, where he first
It was,
ramped it up to 145% and then started slashing it down, right? And
yep.
that's when we really started seeing market structure and sentiment shift right back, right? So as day traders, when you understand this shift is happening, you shouldn't really be looking for anything other than to ride it in that direction, right? You should be only looking to ride the optimism, right? So my co-founder actually has a very good saying that it's much easier and better to be an optimist, right? Everybody makes more money when they're optimistic. Everybody has a better time when they're optimistic, and it's much easier than to try to see where to short. So after that, it's when you have an understanding of sentiment, even on gold, when you understand that rate cuts are being priced in, like over here, this was Jackson Hole Symposium, right? If you remember that,
Yep.
that's where Powell did his dovish pivot. And since then, markets have been pricing in those rate cut expectations, right? And now we are finally coming to the continuation of the rate cuts, but the market has already priced this in ahead of time. Same with ES. Like this was the dovish tilt over here, and we've continued to push up. So it's very, very impactful to understand that underlying picture of what's happening in the background, what's
Yeah.
actually causing these institutions to do mass amounts of buying or selling in certain areas. right? So that's just like a quick breakdown on how to understand like overall sentiment and then translate it, because that's one of the reasons why we built Market. So this is the platform we built as a day trader. When I got introduced to the markets, I only got introduced with technicals, but the magic sauce is actually in the fundamentals and what's actually happening, right? So let's say things like upcoming rate decision, you have all and you have headlines. So if we go back to any time Trump has spoken, you can see that when Trump speaks, it's a very hot headline. It impacts the markets. There's all these headlines where he talks about tariffs, and he's always yapping, as we know. So whenever Trump talks, it impacts the markets. And we build a platform that brings you all this information on what's fueling the markets right now, geopolitical and macro risks, Fed rate cut expectations. And honestly, one of the craziest features we recently released was, let's say if I go to ES and I'm trading futures, right? So let's say you're trading futures, you're doing an evaluation account, and you just passed. But you have to keep in mind, we're in an environment where markets are very sensitive to any geopolitical noise or any macro noise, right? So every time we come to the charts, Kevin, we usually go straight to the large candles. We're like, what happened here, right? Or what caused this to happen over here? So we created this feature where if you just click it, you can get a full breakdown of what happened. Like Fed Chair Powell signals increased rate cut probability in September. So it breaks it fully down for the user. It shows them the entire move, the headlines that drove this move. So you understand what's actually powering this candle rather than just the technical side of it, right?
Wow.
And then you can just see that after this precedent, we just continue to ride the buys towards the upside, all the way from 6380 to 6600. Like, these are massive plays. And that's what I mean, is that if you are a day trader, a scalper, you should be just looking for these buy opportunities, because you understand that the underlying sentiment is quite bullish and we're risk on because of the Fed rate cut expectations, right? So whenever you're day trading and you're entering these buys on your funded accounts, you just know that, okay, even if I'm seeing outflows like this, I just need to wait for the buy opportunity because of where sentiment currently lies, and sentiment is bullish. Right?
Wow, that's great. What a breakdown. I see it also has Apple, so you have equities also with Market AI?
Yeah, so you can basically get an analysis for anything. I trade commodities and futures. So I trade like ES. I trade like if I go to I also trade like currencies. So we have like currency dashboards, we have equities dashboards. But just going back to home, if I wanted to get like an analysis on gold, I can just click this and it'll give me like full breakdown on what we're expecting, what the key factors are powering gold currently, like US dollar weakness, will give key levels. So it's very, very impactful for like a day trader, or even like a long-term investor who wants more specifics for upcoming long-term swing plays.
Yeah, no, listen, you know what? I think today's a great day to have you on as a guest too. I was gonna say, to come back to the chart and go on the daily time frame for a second. The last time we had a rate cut was December 18th. December 18th, and we'll look at it on the chart and we'll see the reaction on that December 18th.
Right
See
here.
that big sell-off right there?
Right there.
So that was the last time. That was ES selling off from its recent all-time highs. From that point going forward, we sold off over 20% on the ES. Now, that was brought to us from possibly that being our last rate cut for some time, possibly the tariff situation. Now, I know it was from the tariff situation, right? Trump announced, oh, we're going to add additional tariffs on China and Canada. I'm sorry, Canada and Mexico. That was the original tariffs, and markets hated that reaction. Now,
yeah, exactly. So exactly the point that you brought up, Kevin, very, very sharp eyes. Like, this was the last rate cut, right?
Yep.
But keep in mind, you and I know that the markets are pricing in these rate cuts from here.
Exactly.
This is that entire rate cut. And by the time they actually cut rates again for the last time before this upcoming one, the market was then buy the rumor, sell the news, because it was already priced in, right? And that's when you have that underlying understanding of that this is what we're currently pricing in. These upcoming rate cut expectations are what being priced in. So you know that when they happen, it's going to be like a sell the rumor type of play. Buy the rumor, sell the news, sorry. And then absolutely, that's when Trump came out and did his tariff, what I like to call a tariff tantrum, because this is something that he did last presidency as well. And then since then, you can just see that every time Trump came out and put that optimism on the table, we got those inflows. And after that, it was just more optimism that you just ride to all-time highs. But absolutely, we're at these all-time highs again. Rate cut expectations have been priced in. A 25 basis point rate cut is completely priced in. What would shock the market is a 50, but that's the probability of that's much lower, right?
Yeah, that would be something, man. I think, quite honestly, at this point in the market, like you said, the whole sell the news situation, I think, unfortunately, a lot of retail traders don't understand that concept, and they don't understand the concept of markets pricing things in. So I think that's sort of what led to our last rate cut selling off. And I think that could lead to another big sell-off here on the ES and NQ today. And these pivotal moments, this is what could give markets a reversal.
Yeah.
So,
yep. Absolutely.
Possible reversal, maybe. Possible pullback, probably more likely. No doubt that we are still in a bull market. No doubt we're still making higher highs. We're at all-time highs. But with news like this, a catalyst like this, we want to be patient and wait for the reaction.
Yeah.
It does bring a lot of uncertainty, too. We see Nilab pointed out perfectly before that when markets are optimistic, they fly. But once that uncertainty hits, they sell off very strong.
Yep. But keep in mind that today's importance isn't the 25 basis point rate cut. It's what is the Fed going to do looking forward.
Exactly.
We have to gauge what the forward guidance is.
Exactly.
On the tone that Powell uses at 2:30 Eastern, what does Powell say? Is the Fed going to be dovish going forward, or are they just cutting rates once and then waiting for data and holding off for a bit, just like how they held off since December, right?
Yep.
So it's going to be that forward guidance, which is going to guide the markets. If Fed sees upcoming rate cuts and they signal towards it, then you're going to see more of inflows, right? But if the Fed remains more hawkish and says, no, we're going to cut this one and then wait, you're going to see a bit more hawkishness in the market, and his tone cause a bit more uncertainty and outflows, right? Yep. So it's going to be very, very interesting how that comes into play at 2:30.
Yeah, no, I like it, man. That's good stuff. This is golden right here. Make sure you guys are spamming that like button for Nilab for coming on today, showing us a fantastic platform. Do you mind pulling Market AI up? I want to see what's going on with our economic calendar.
Absolutely. So we have a very cool economic calendar, which is getting a massive update. So let's say you have something like retail sales, which came out yesterday. We provide like a full analysis on what we estimate that, what we think that estimate will be, plus a minimum and maximum values, as well as like full impact and analysis, as well as summary for the report once the report is out. So you don't have to read like the massive 10-page report like this, right? You can just have an understanding of it to get the takeaways. And we're actually taking things up a notch. In the next week, we're releasing a full institutional calendar, which is the same one that's sourced from places like the Bloomberg terminal. And it's really giving retail traders an edge to get deeper and get a better understanding of this is what actually impacts the markets. Because as a day trader, I think everybody, especially when you're trading funded accounts or personal capital, you should make sure that you have full awareness. If I'm a master of my craft, what does that look like? Do I know everything about it, or do I only know the levels, right? I would want to know every single thing that's going to impact the asset class I'm trading, the instrument I'm trading. Which futures are you trading? If you're trading S&P on Apex, like make sure you understand every factor that's causing it to be bullish. Or what have we priced in? What's upcoming, right? These are things that are very, very impactful to know and can further help you pass a challenge or even get those payouts, right?
That's awesome. Do you want to show us, speaking of daily bias, do you want to show us the daily bias tab sort of on the
Absolutely. So we do a daily bias. So for your chosen assets, we'll provide like a bullish case, bearish case, as well as an overall macro outlook for your portfolio and what's currently powering Apple. This is like an Apple analysis, right? iPhone demand, AI innovation, domestic investment, tariff pressure, as you can see, is causing a bit more pressure, but it's much less weighted compared to everything else that's causing its bullishness, right? Yep. Same with like gold. As you can see, gold hits new all-time highs near 3,700 amid Fed rate cut expectations. and dollar weakness. And you can see the main factor for gold's bullishness is the Fed rate cut, right? And then the dollar weakness right over here. So this is like based on the instruments you trade. So I trade Apple, Tesla, Nvidia, and then ES, and it gives me like a full breakdown on what's upcoming and how best I can prepare for my session.
Dude, that is sick. So this is really just a hands-on approach to help, like if you're looking to get an eval account, you're looking to pass, you're looking to stay consistent, understand market sentiment, direction. Guys, any day trader should have a software like this that sort of gives you hands-on, hey, we're bullish because A, B, and C. Hey, we're bearish because A, B, and C. And guess what? Sometimes we're going to find up the market AI sentiment index. Sometimes we're going to find more of a cautious optimism where we see today, we have pretty range-bound price action. That's because we're anticipating FOMC at 230. So having a tool like this, that is awesome, man. Good for you. Big congrats to you on creating this and putting
Thank
this
you
out
so much,
there.
Kevin. Thank you so much. Like it's been amazing. It's been the love from the industry has been great. And I'm very, very thankful for everybody who uses our platform, those who have given us feedback, and traders like yourself who use it on a day-to-day basis. And it's been great, man. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, dude, that's awesome. Fantastic. Let's hit back some charts. Let's take a look at the NASDAQ. Do you trade NASDAQ at all, or you're mainly?
I don't trade NASDAQ, but we can pull it up. If you want.
Let's do gold then. GC.
Gold? Yeah, let's do GC. I don't have my levels on GC, but yeah, for sure. We can definitely have a look at this, right? I would actually, do you want to go into like the lower time frame, or did you want to go a more higher time frame approach?
We could always do a top-down analysis. We can start wherever you want.
Sweet. So we'll start top-down, right? Again, if we go back to this part, if you trade GC, this is very important for you to understand. What was happening over here was that the markets, did I select the bar? Yeah, there we go. What was happening right here was we were pricing in the tariff tantrum right over here as we were discussing. This tariff tantrum gets priced in, and then gold goes more into a range bound, right? Gold goes into a range bound all the way until it was August 22nd. And August 22nd is a very key day because that's when we had the Jackson Hole Symposium. Sorry, I'm in July right now. Right over here, I believe. Yes, this is where the Jackson Hole Symposium happened. And this is where Powell decided and mentioned that, hey guys, it was a dovish tilt. Everything Powell was saying pointed towards upcoming labor market weakness, upcoming rate cuts, and the markets took it as a sign to rally, right? Same rallying happened in ES at the same time on August 22nd. And if I just take you guys to candle analysis, I go to gold, let's say, and you can check anything, Bitcoin or whatever. And we go all the way back to August 22nd. It's going right over here. See, rising economic risks and open store to rate cuts. And since then, you can also see that gold has just been on a monstrous rally, right? Yep. If you understand, that's what I mean. It's all these asset classes are moved based on real-time events that are happening around the world. They're not moving just based off technicals or this fair value gap. There's a real madness behind the mechanism that happens. And it's made difficult to understand on purpose for day traders, right? So as retail traders, we want to make sure we're best equipped. So that's why it's very important you understand that the sentiment, then every time gold pulls back, you know it's time for me to load up on buys. Or if you see during your session, you see bullish candles playing out, breaking out above this range over here, then you can scale in buys on the breakout and really ride it to new highs, or at least to the previous high over here, right?
Yeah. Wow, look at that. That's awesome. And guys, great point by Nalab, right? Markets don't move because a fair value gap is there, because of a orb breakout. Markets move due to two things, volume and the geopolitical, right? The news, the actual surrounding of global economic. If we're looking at something like a commodity like gold that's traded around the world, we want to know what's going on about gold news-wise around the world.
Yep, exactly. Like this was a $375 move on GC, right? Wow. That's a massive 11%. And you can see these moves happen based off a very key catalyst in the markets, just like this tariff tantrum, right? This was a 17% move on GC. Massive. So Exactly. The markets are always, this is what I mean. They're always forward looking. They're always trying to have a few focal points to focus on. And then they act on it based on what is expected to come.
Dude, that is awesome. Guys, great stuff. I'm excited for FOMC today. Noab, I don't know about you. Everybody in the comments, let me know if you're bullish or bearish after this FOMC. Noab made a great point that I didn't even think of, but is so clear that, yes, going forward, we do have to see. Are they going to stay dovish? Are they going to flip back hawkish? That is going to give us that immediate response, that possible reversal in this bull trend. Until then, still bullish.
And yeah, keep in mind, it's always better to be an optimist, right? You have to pick and choose your battles. You have to make sure that you're playing by the parameters of your funded accounts, and that you're really taking the most opportunities that make sense. You don't want to be selling when institutions are buying, right? You don't want to be selling when Jerome Powell is hinting towards upcoming rate cuts. That's just a recipe for disaster, right?
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. Guys, that's awesome. Noab, is there anything else you want to show us on market that you think just stands out that others don't have? I mean, everything you showed us.
Yeah, I think our candle analysis is really one of a kind. It doesn't exist in the industry. You can click on any candle, get an explanation of what powered it. We have full institutional headlines. These are the same headlines that are found in a Bloomberg terminal, and you don't have to pay $40,000 a year for it. But honestly, I'm just very excited to be here to talk about the markets. And thank you so much, Kevin, for having me on.
Bro, it was so awesome having you. Guys, make sure you hit that like button for Noab. Let me exit his screen. That is awesome. Hit that like, hit that subscribe. Join me for Futures Fever next week as well. Noab, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much, man. I appreciate it.
All right. Take care.
Take care.
All right, guys.